Greetings, fellow Hamasauruses. Tiki here.
Jacob Wile too.
And welcome to another thrilling episode of Tiki's Universe, the show where we react and respond to a whole myriad of current animated programming. Blue Dragon 5 and I are reacting to Steven Universe. Jacob, we're about to talk about Samurai Jack sometime in the coming couple days. I'm really excited to get into that. But today we are here to talk about the month of Milo. Milo's Murphy Law has returned, Jacob, after we got the month of Star in February. Jacob, there's actually like quite a few episodes on the Disney XD app already that haven't even officially aired. Am I right?
Yep.
Which is like odd, but whatever. I'm just gonna. I'm sorry, Jacob. Do you know how many episodes have aired so far?
Not exactly.
But you know what? That's actually
Basically, but on the app, all but the last two are there.
right.
The little internet couldn't, and the llama incident are the only ones that aren't on the app.
Because I was looking for the llama incident, I was like curious if that was up yet.
Nope, it's not.
All right. I'm actually going to look up really quick. I'm pretty sure we've gotten because basically what I want to do is I want to just even though most of the episodes are up on the app already, I kind of want to just wait until they air to actually talk about them. If that makes any sense.
Yep.
Which means we're actually not that far behind. We're just we're doing these two right now. We're doing Family Vacation and Murphy's Lard. Murphy's Lard. Had to stop myself there. And then we should come back in the next couple of days to do Secrets and Pies and Academicamathlon. Wow.
Or Athletecamathlon. I don't know.
All right. Anyways, enough with the
One of those two.
enough with the semantics, Jacob. Let us dive right into it. This is Milo Murphy's Law season 1 episode. I believe it is episode 6. Yeah, episode 6A. Let's talk about Family Vacation before we get into Murphy's Lard. We're gonna break down these Milo Murphy's Law episodes 2 episodes at a time because it's A and B, and I figure that's an easier and more efficient way to do things. Because we've got a lot of programming to go through, Jacob. We're still way behind on DuckTales. I mean, we better just face facts that we're not going to get all of DuckTales done before that show premieres. I mean, we might as well just, like, give up on that goal. It's not going to happen. But,
We can still get a lot in, though.
we could, but I mean, there's a lot going on in the coming months, man. But, anyway, so Murphy Family Vacation. I like both these episodes so much, Jacob. They're both really fun in their own way. I like how Murphy's Family Vacation is a little more epic in scope, and it's got kind of like that quality that the pilot episode had, where it's just like chaos, just building upon chaos, building upon more chaos. And then Murphy's Lard, I really like a lot. That actually might be one of my favorite episodes of the series, just because of the character development. The relatable scenario, and like Murphy's Lard is actually kind of like the opposite of Family Vacation, where it's actually like for this show it's pretty self-contained.
Pretty much.
Okay, but let's start with Family Vacation. What do you think of this episode, Jacob?
I thought they were both pretty. Like, I agree with you. They're both pretty fantastic episodes.
Yeah, Family Vacation I really like a lot because it gives us our biggest insight yet into the actual Murphy family. Mr. Murphy, man. Mr. Murphy is just such a pleasant guy. I love Mr. Murphy every time he's on screen.
It's like you can see where Milo gets his optimism.
Yeah, totally.
It's like they don't let the bad luck plaguing their family get them down.
Oh, Murphy's Law. Sorry, my bad. It actually, Jacob, that line I think basically confirms that it's only the male side of the Murphy family that's affected by Murphy's Law.
It looks like it because so we've had to see if like Sarah has it because because remember in the Dr. Zone file she had bad luck there, but it hasn't been confirmed if she is too affected. I mean, I don't think Mrs. Murphy is affected because she is not, naturally a Murphy.
And I love Mrs. Murphy's line of like, "Oh, I would say that that was overkill, but I'd be wrong." For like the 6 spare tires that they pack.
Yeah, because like she's used to the Murphy.
Which is great. I don't know, man. I love this family. I think through just 10 episodes of 10 A B episodes, like 11-minute chunks. We've gotten such a good grasp on this family already in this series, and like I said, it's like Mr. Murphy hasn't gotten a ton of screen time so far, but every single moment he's had, I like him so much. I love his whole bit where, after they pull out from the gas station, he's kind of just like singing Murphy Family Vacation to himself. It's a Murphy Family Vacation.
Though admittedly, he probably should have noticed earlier that he forgot his son.
Well, yeah, it's a little short-sighted, but
then again, we can't just pin the blame on him. Everybody didn't. Nobody noticed.
And also, Jacob, I think for this show in particular, it's just kind of like, logic? What logic?
and it could probably be attributed to Murphy's Law.
Right, exactly. I mean, look at Lard, Murphy's Lard. That's one of the more self-contained episodes of the show where like the chaos is just segregated to one specific location. It doesn't go like all over the place like this one does. And that one has like a flying pig head in it, Jacob. A flaming pig head, no less.
And this one is like, Milo in one vehicle and the rest of the Murphys in the other. Mm-hmm. Things get crazy.
Right.
Especially when they get attacked get picked up by that helicopter.
Oh God!
It's like,
hey, I thought we were only supposed to be abducting cows.
Disintegration ray? That's not the answer to everything.
Because it's the closest button doesn't mean it's the answer to everything.
It makes you wonder what else they've disintegrated.
Oh God. I can't wait to talk about this pistachio gentleman in Murphy's Lard as well. I just want to bring that up. But the pistachio gentlemen have one great moment in this episode. I blame you.
Really? I mean, how can you
What could I have possibly done about that?
That's just your attitude.
Oh my God. I love the pistachio gentleman, man.
Yep, Balthazar and Vinny.
I'm not even sure if the pistachio gentleman is like the correct term for them, but I just like calling them the pistachio gentlemen. That's like my pet name for them.
Funny thing, we actually learn more about them in an upcoming episode.
Oh, we do? Okay. I mean, I thought Murphy's Lard was a good kind of insight into them a little bit more than we've gotten already, but
well, we find out more in another episode.
Nice.
Like exactly why they're protecting their pistachios.
Oh God. Anyways, let's focus on the family vacation for now. Do you remember the name of the other family in this episode? It's like
the Brule family.
The Brules, yes. One of my favorite moments in this episode is when the dad's just like, but we're wasting precious time that we could be spending staring at the void of a gigantic crevice. Wait, I just heard myself.
Yep. Basically, he just realized like, wait, that actually sounds very boring.
Jacob, like as a huge nerd, I can totally like I totally have those moments where it's like I'm super into something, but then I realize how boring it is to most other people. I'm like, wait. Especially like a lot with movies and stuff like that, when I'm just like going on about like the intricacies and whatnot, and then I realize that I'm talking to someone who isn't really into movies, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? It's just like I have to stop myself sometimes. But okay.
But Milo joining them didn't actually turn out to be a bad thing after all.
No, and I really like that lesson too, and I really like what this, I just think this episode has a really good message about road trips and about vacations. You know what I mean? I love the sentiment of, you know, the sentiment jar. We'll get into the jars in just a second, but I love the sentiment at the end of the episode with you know, what is it essentially like? It takes going away to realize just how good you have it, or something like that. You could probably say it better than I can.
I think vacation, the only place we can go away to get closer to what you already have.
Exactly. That's like I'm like, yeah, I totally agree with that. And Jacob, I mean, like I went on 3 vacations last year, all 3 of them to Disneyland, and I like by the time I got done with the 3rd trip to Disneyland, I was just like, I don't want to go to Disneyland again for like another 3 years. I'm good. So I was kind of like the guy, you know, like the father from the other family. I was just like, oh, but we have to go back to Disneyland a 3rd time. Have you seen Cars Land? Have you seen it? And then by the 3rd time, I was like, yep, it's Cars Land. It's impressive, but it's Cars Land. I get it. I get it. I've seen it. Cars Land seriously is like my Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I think it was cool the first few times, but
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still impressive. It's still super impressive, but it's just like, okay, like I've seen it. I can see other things in my life. Anyways, okay, so let's talk about the jars, because Jacob, I am absolutely convinced, I mean, not really, but, you know, I'd like to convince myself that the writers of the show somehow stumbled upon the Bates Motel recap podcast that Dragon and I have been doing for a few years on this channel, and saw our running gag we have about all the different jars. Like, we have a jar for every time we reference one of the characters as a young Bruce Wayne. We have a jar for every time we make a Breaking Bad reference. Just different stuff like that. And so to see that translated into this episode, like, you know, unnecessary jars, I'm just like, that's great.
unnecessary wordplay during crisis.
My favorite jar was unnecessary anthropomorphizing of national monuments.
How many? Wasn't there something already in there like they've done that before?
There was, all those jars looked pretty damn full. Okay. Let's see. Anything else to touch on with Murphy Family Vacation? I like how Lard World is. Is that right? Lard World.
Yep.
Okay, just checking. I know it's right in front of me, but I'm not looking at the screen share right now. Sorry. I know that Lard World. I like how it's foreshadowed in this episode, and I know that's something that the Phineas and Ferb creators like to do a lot. You know what I mean? They like to put like a little connection or tie to the A and B episodes.
Well, not a lot, like especially in the original show. I mean, they didn't do that a lot, but
I mean, you have listed examples of when they've done that, though.
There's mostly like they did callbacks instead of like foreshadows.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm sorry. For some reason, I know there are certain Phineas and Ferb episodes where it's like the A plot, the.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there are. It's just like they did more callbacks and references more than like foreshadows, and mostly because of the way Disney aired it.
Oh God. And Disney is just being confusing yet again with their airing schedule. I mean, because of the app, because everything's up on the app already. But anyways, let's see. So
that's another reason why they didn't put a lot of continuity in that show, is because of the way they kept airing it. But they didn't bother complain, and they didn't really complain to them because, like, hey, they're paying for and airing our show. I mean, what can we say?
Exactly. Right. I'm just like, Cartoon Network, man. Cartoon Network needs to get their shit together. Nickelodeon is beating Cartoon Network at this point. Anyways, I'm serious. They have the Loud House. They have Harvey Beaks. Cartoon Network really needs to get it together. Anyways, I mean, don't get me wrong. Cartoon Network does have some good stuff. It's got Steven Universe, of course, but I mean, even Steven Universe is only going to last one more season after the current season, according to Rebecca Sugar. It's on season 4, and Rebecca Sugar says they're going to go 5 seasons. So, you know, like, Steven Universe has a shelf life. Anyways, I'm sorry. I just randomly went off on a Cartoon Network tangent.
What about Hamasword?
Oh, yeah, of course. That's another thing I wanted to talk to you about, Jacob. The integration of the CGI into this episode. What do you think about it?
I mean, obviously it looks a lot different from the rest of the episode, but I didn't really
I mean, I think it is visually impressive, but it is kind of like stylistically just a little bit jarring. I think I'll get used to it if I see that same style done more in the show. It's just like
I know,
that's the first
yeah.
time we've seen like a kind of like a realistic like CG thing in the
The
show.
the RV was CG too. It just looked a lot more convincing.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is like the RV is like more stylized into what this show looks like normally. You know what I mean? The RV is more kind of cartoony, whereas the plates and then the Hamosaurus were they were just a little bit more kind of not necessarily realistic, but just kind of I don't know.
They didn't have outlines. That was probably the problem. Like they didn't have outlines.
That might have been part of the problem. Yeah.
I said, but like, they said, we're being chased by Jurassic Pork. You have to admit that was a good one. Jurassic Pork.
I didn't know he existed until 10 minutes ago, but now that he's gone, my life feels empty.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
What do you think of the twins?
They were pretty interesting. How they were like fascinated by Milo and how like made their vacations exciting.
Yeah, you know, it's just kind of like we'll probably never see them again, but they were fun.
Yeah.
That's about it, man. That's about. I think we've pretty much run the gambit on it. Oh, I guess except for Zach and Melissa just like chilling by the pool as DOG goes on a rescue mission.
Like they're supposed to be watching DOG, but they're supposed to be watching, and then she's like, "Wait, have you seen DOG?"
Oh God, it's
a good thing they. It's a good thing they didn't because DOG ended up saving their
right.
Like he's not supposed to be at the river.
Dragon is that? I'm sorry, Jacob. Jacob is that running gag dead?
I don't think it was ever a running gag. I think we just turned it into one between us.
But they said it like 3 times. It seemed like it was going to be a running gag.
I think it was just in that one episode.
No, it wasn't. I know it was used at least twice. At least twice, at the very minimum. I want to say at least 3 times.
I think we're just using it more than they are.
Fair enough. I want that to be a running gag. It's so amusing, but I don't think it's going to happen though because they keep passing up opportunities to use it.
He's not supposed to be at the river.
He's not supposed to be on this vacation. All right, shall we transition into Murphy's Lard?
Yep.
Okay, Jacob, the more and more I'm thinking about it, this might be my favorite episode of the whole series so far.
I mean, it is a pretty interesting episode for many reasons. And
what I love about this episode is that it still keeps like the chaos and the domino effects type stuff that the show's really good at, but it also reins it in and makes it a lot more relatable than the show usually is, I think.
Yeah, it's like with the fear of like the roller coaster fear.
And who doesn't have that fear? Who hasn't had that fear at one point?
Yeah, like even like she's like, I don't want you to think less of me because I have a fear of roller coasters. Then Zach's like, yeah, actually, that's a pretty normal thing.
And Dragon, this episode is just like super relatable to me. Like, this is just one of those subjects. Like, anytime a cartoon does an episode about a roller coaster, it basically becomes one of my favorite episodes. Like the Hey Arnold episode where Arnold and Eugene are stuck on that dinosaur coaster. I love that episode. The episode of Rocket Power where Squid has to face his fear of that one ride. I don't know. This is a roller coaster. It's just like a thing with me.
So what do you think of her? Why the reason why Melissa's afraid of her?
It was great. I mean, it makes total sense in the context of this show, right?
There's actually something else regarding that.
What?
You know how she said it was the first day of summer?
Yeah.
Guess what Phineas and Ferb's first project was?
A roller. Oh my God. Okay. I mean, I have seen that episode. Yeah. Wow.
That was their roller coaster that crushed her science project.
Oh my God. Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
that's what I said. I'm like, it's their roller coaster.
I did not put the pieces together. I knew Phineas and Ferb's first episode was a roller coaster, but I totally did not put that together. Oh, that is wonderful.
That's like their biggest connection to this show so far.
Now, I'm assuming that episode ends with the roller coaster falling from the sky somehow.
that's one of the things that happens in it. Yes, like after Perry the Platypus connects Doofenshmirtz's magnet, then it picks up the roller coaster, and then eventually he cuts the line and it drops.
Okay.
And we don't actually see what happens to it after that, but here we see like
well, we know now.
We know what happens to it. It crushed this project and gave her a crippling fear of roller coasters.
Oh God. Jacob.
The question is though, did she ever see the second one they made?
Right.
Because they did a musical episode, so I'm wondering if she ever saw that one.
I'm gonna guess no. Maybe, I don't know. But Jacob, my roller coaster was Goliath at Six Flags Magic Mountain.
I've heard of that one. It's actually pretty intense.
To tell you the truth, once I actually went on it, I was like super underwhelmed by it, and that's what I've heard from a lot of people. But Goliath just has the intimidation factor to it because it's super tall. I mean, it's not the tallest ride out there. It's only 250 feet, and there's a lot of hyper coasters like Millennium Force at Cedar Point, or
yeah, I think I've been on that.
Or Fury 325 at Carowinds, which from what I hear is like the best roller coaster on the planet now, apparently.
What's it called?
Fury 325. It's called 325 because it's 325 feet tall, in case you couldn't guess.
The Beast from Kings Island is pretty cool too.
That's a classic. Jacob, I'm sorry. I need to get to the East Coast to ride more roller coasters, man. I feel like the roller coasters we have on the West Coast, with the exception of the ones at Magic Mountain, are like weak sauce compared to East Coast roller coasters. Seriously, I know, because I've ridden virtually every major roller coaster in California. The only ones I haven't ridden are like a couple boardwalk wooden coasters. Like, I haven't ridden the Giant Dipper, basically anything in San Diego. I haven't been to San Diego, so anything in San Diego I haven't been on.
And at least you don't have a fear of fish.
Oh God.
Which also includes a reference to Apocalypse Now.
I could tell you stories about a fish, but I don't want to do that because it would take too long. Sure, I'll do it really quick. Basically, oh God, it is actually a really good story, Jacob. So I think I will tell you. Right. Okay. So me and my sister, we actually won one of those, the fish that you see at the end of the episode in the bag at the fair. And we were like super, we were just like, I don't know, maybe like 9-10 years old at the time, something like that. And we were just like super into having this fish, right? And by all intents and purposes, this incident actually did kind of give me a little bit of fear of fish. So we went home, we got a fish bowl, we put this one fish in it. But then we were like, oh man, it's like, wouldn't it be cool if we got like a bunch of fish? So what we did is we ended up going to the grocery store, going to a pet store, getting like maybe like 20 or so little goldfish, like little feeder fish, putting them in the fish bowl with this other fish. There's like at least 20 fish in this one tiny fish bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
We wake up the next day, all the fish in the fish bowl are fucking dead.
Damn.
Yeah. So Dragon, I can relate to. I'm sorry, Jacob. I keep calling you Dragon. I'm sorry. I can totally relate to to the fear of fish because of that incident. Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah.
I still can't believe we actually did that. Actually, the most fucked up part of that story is that there was one fish that was still alive swimming around amidst like all the corpses of all these other fish. Yeah. But it was a little bit of a sociopathic moment for my sister and I.
Seems like it.
Anyways. So, but yeah, I don't really have a ton to say about this episode. I just, like I said, I just really like the the roller coaster element of it. It's really fun. I love the gag, like, oh, look, there's the top of a plane. Oh, look, there's the top of that plane again. Like this plane is just like circling the amusement park for some reason.
And what about the pistachio guy?
Yes. Okay, well, I was going to save that for last. Let's break down the pistachio gentleman. So they're making like barriers around pistachios.
They zapped in right behind the Henry, was it? They zapped in right behind him.
I love how Dakota has like this fixation with all these different musical instruments.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Like, and while Cavendish does all the work,
like he's playing the harmonica, he's sitting back with he's like, oh, good, this will give me some time to practice the thermidor.
The theremin.
Theremin, yeah, I'm sorry.
I think that's what it was. It's like corporate Senus.
I actually have played with a theremin before in drama class, Jacob. It's pretty interesting.
Yep, I've seen those too. They're pretty fun.
And then, of course, he asks the poor amusement park employee that I just felt so bad for. Yeah. Voiced by the wonderful Thomas Lennon from Reno 911.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't notice.
Yeah. Thomas Lennon from Reno 911.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't have even told. You wouldn't have been able to tell if it wasn't in the Wikipedia. Okay, I get it. I can blah. You guys were 1,000% right.
Yeah, the flaming pig did come true.
That's such a great thing about this show. Is like I said, it's like this show is not the most grounded cartoon, obviously. But that's kind of like the joy of it, is that it's just like anything can happen. And when you hear like flying pig head, like eventually they are going to have a flying pig head, and it's going to.
But the really thing is, like, it leaves you wondering, how is it going to happen?
Exactly. And it's like, and every time they do it, it's like, even though it is like super exaggerated and cartoony, it's still very much like in that same sort of like it makes sense in the logic of its own world. You know what I mean?
And like I said, that's the beauty of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I said it takes full advantage of the fact that it's a cartoon.
Sure.
Like, it's not grounded by realism or anything like that. Like, it's like, realism? What's that?
Exactly.
Like,
Get out of here, Mike Judge, with your super realistic family sitcom type cartoons. Get out of here.
I'll pretend I understood that reference.
What?
Then I'll pretend I understood that.
Mike Judge did King of the Hill.
All right. I thought he also did other things, but
Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill. Oh God, a terrible show called The Good Family. But King of the Hill is like the antithesis of Milo Murphy's Law, right?
I guess I didn't really watch that.
It's like the least animated show ever. Like everything about King of the Hill could be translated into live action. Don't get me wrong, I like King of the Hill. It's got good characters in it.
I think one of the creators of the show actually used to work on that.
Really?
Yeah, I think briefly. I think one of them.
That's weird. Because
I know they both used to work on The Simpsons, and one of them worked for Family Guy.
I mean, Simpsons and Family Guy makes a lot more sense. King of the Hill is just, like I said, it's just like it's the least animated show ever.
Like, here's what you like, though. Both of them also worked on shows like Rocko's Modern Life and things like that, and Hey Arnold.
Oh yeah, I love me some Hey Arnold.
Yep.
To tell you the truth, Jacob, Rocko's Modern Life has not aged as well for me as I would have liked it to have. Like I'm
saying at the time they did work on that.
Sure. Like I'm just saying, like, Hey Arnold. The reason why I like go gaga over Hey Arnold and like constantly refer to it is that I feel like Hey Arnold just like stands the test of time so much. Like those episodes hold up so incredibly well nowadays. But Hey Arnold's a fucking masterpiece, man. Anyways, I think we've pretty much run the gambit on things to talk about. Jacob, anything else you want to bring up?
I mean, nothing really else happens in this episode, I don't think. But it's like it just has a lot of interesting talking points for all of these.
Yeah, I mean, we went quite a while on this. Probably, I want to say we've gone longer on this than we have on some of the Star versus Force of Evil two-parters that we've done. So that's
Probably because all the tangents this show can take us.
I guess so. Yeah, right, right. So, anyways,
So much is packed into these episodes.
So, do you want to give us some tease into the next two episodes that we're going to be covering sometime in the next few days?
All right, let me see. The next episode is Secrets and Pies.
Secrets and Pies. Ask me how the pie is, Jacob.
How's the pie?
It's so good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so Milo and Melissa share their most embarrassing stories, but Zach refuses to reveal his past.
Ooh, okay.
And it all takes place basically at their house, at Milo's house, where he learns how to cook, where he's actually showing them how to cook, showing them what he's learned at his cooking class. But things go awry, as they naturally do. But Zach refuses to reveal what his past.
Okay.
Which will be pretty interesting. Which turns out to be pretty interesting. I mean, I'm sure you don't want to know what it is just yet.
But... No, I'm kind of like, yeah, like I get it. Okay, so
then Athledecamathlon, or however you pronounce that, is the gang participates in a school event that combines the academic decathlon and the athletic decathlon.
Oh God. Okay. Sure, why not?
Because the reason is because the school spent a bunch of money on a yacht. Named the indulgence.
Also, Jacob, this just caught my eye on Wikipedia. Apparently Mark Hamill's in this show.
He is. He voices an upcoming character. I mean, if you do know who he is, or
I mean, I see who he is. He's the supervisor to the Pistachio Gentleman.
Yep.
Which is I'm really excited about that. What episode does he come in at?
Let me check. I believe he's either in first appears in The Substitute or Timeout.
Okay, so it's a little further on down the line. Okay, cool.
I mean, have you figured anything out of those guys out yet?
No, not really.
All right.
Okay, so I think that is about it, folks. Thanks for bearing with us. This is a bit longer of a Tiki's Universe episode than we usually do. Actually, I don't know, Jay. We might want to break these up. Then again, we don't really have a lot of time to break them up because we're juggling so much at the moment. But regardless, folks, thanks for watching. And until then, just remember, it's his world, and we're all living in it. Da, 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 da. It's a Murphy family vacation.